I swear some people thought you were his son.
Mate,
Like,
Your first move, Tats, is walk into Virgil's house, take your shirt off, open his fridge, and just start like drinking his milk out of the cart.
look at me. I'm the captain now.
Tads, you look a bit worse for wear today. Why is that?
Had a little night out last night. I actually went solo, which is like I don't think I've ever been to a rave solo, but I was like, fuck it. There's some music that I want to go to. And I actually had so much fun, met loads of people, but had a bit of a dodge drive back on my scooter. I've never ridden with more than two people, and I was drunk, and there was two people who needed a lift. It's like, fuck's sakes. But it was sketchy. Yeah, so I had three people on the moped. Well, three in total. But yeah,
was one guy holding around your waist like that, like Glenn?
Yeah,
kissing you on the cheek.
That's funny. And Glenn, you're back in the UK now, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's kind of nice. I had a pie and a Guinness last night. That's always good. But
yeah, you'd be
it's
crazy,
pretty nice being on holiday. Coming home is always a little bit shit, isn't it?
Yeah, the weather's been terrible the past like few days as well. Super windy, rain, classic Welsh weather.
Yeah, wouldn't be a podcast with Brits without talking about the weather, would it?
Okay, so Linda Yaccarino, she's put out this video about X, basically saying it's going to become the everything app, like we predicted on our sales page a while back. So she's talking about like calls, video calls, payments, job descriptions, sort of like LinkedIn vibes. I'm quite excited for it because since like all the multimedia updates, I found myself on Instagram a lot less because I'm just watching videos on X a lot more. It's not perfect, but it's getting there. But I would much rather have just one app for everything rather than have like 6 different apps for different like stuff. Tats, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because I think it's almost like a growing problem in terms of how many apps we have for just the simple things we do, like but loads of banking apps, like different banking cards, like loads of different social medias, like you're messaging people on iMessages, WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, like everything. And you're sort of starting to see now like more apps that just like bring things together. So you have an app where you can connect all your bank cards together in one, so you can just pay through that. So I find it interesting that obviously the route that X is going is to try and recreate something like that, but for payments and social media. Because like even like the other day, I noticed that they had like a little jobs thing. You can put out a jobs report. And yeah, I think being able to pay, if you can pay people over social media, that's also great. Like just in messages, like basically it seems like what they want to do is that you can shop, you can find a job, you can pay your mate for something all while listening to a space. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm really excited. I don't even know if this is a new thing, but someone realized as well, you can search people's bios. Now this is kind of separate to that, but the cool thing for that is that if you're looking for leads, you can target people so easily just based on their bios. And I can only imagine that finding leads and things like that just gets better and better. The less bots they are, but two, the more stuff like the jobs, all this sort of stuff that they have there. Kind of like combining LinkedIn with YouTube, with Spotify and everything like that.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Instagram back in the day when Snapchat came around and then sort of Instagram introduced stories. And then like when Vine came around, they added videos, not just images. Like if Instagram was still just like images now, I'd never use it. I only use it for like video stuff now, really, like reels and stuff. So I'm all for it. Like adding more features usually gives a better experience, but it's going to be complicated. There's going to be like teething issues, but I mean, down the line, it's probably the best long-term play, isn't it?
And most exciting thing is seeing a lot of change.
I think it's further away.
Go for Glenn.
Yeah, I was going to say it's further away than people think it might be, I reckon. Like 12 to 24 months before the final form really starts to take shape. Because the video stuff is really clunky still. It's not really a good platform for scrolling videos. this calling people through messages thing is wild as well. Like, does this mean I'm going to be getting like 100 cold calls a day from all the agency bros on Twitter?
Yeah, I wonder if it like pops up on your screen like some random accounts ringing you, or it. Yeah, there must be
Money
some.
Bag Getter 69 is calling.
You had a good long form today as well, Glenn. And like one thing you said was like have like 3-month plans and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like anything more than 3 months, like you don't know what X is going to be in 3 months. Like you can't plan longer than that on like a platform that's changing this fast.
Yeah, agreed. Even 3 months ago from today, when would that be? Like June? Stuff that people were doing in June is like semi-obsolete now. And when you go back as far as January, February, March, like so many of those formats are completely obsolete. If you went into a coma in January and then woke up in September, you'd be like, what the hell is this app? I don't even recognize it. So much has happened.
Yeah. And like with like multimedia and stuff now, do you think it's going to be more competitive, less competitive? Do you reckon it gives people more of an opportunity? Because like Mr. Beast has been making videos since 2012, right? And if you think he's making like videos pretty much every day since 2012, it's like making videos is so much harder than just writing a few lines of text and tweeting it. So I think a lot of people get cut out if they're not willing to do video because it's such a better experience, in my opinion, than just like reading a bit of text.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I think.
I was just gonna say I still quite like text. Like I don't know whether it's the platform, but I don't know something about. It's like everyone's. I think everyone's also got like a slight preference, whether it's text or video or things like that. So I think it'll just cater to a load of different people. I saw Taylor did an interesting post where he was like, the reason why he's not doing video is because he's like, his strong point of what he's best at is writing right now. And if he does video, he wants to do it well instead of like splitting his energy, doing like half-assed videos whilst writing as well. So he's just completely ignoring it completely and just absolutely smashing out the long forms, which I thought was an interesting take because it's like everyone's like, oh, you gotta start posting now, and he's like, nah, I can't be asked just to post like mediocre videos. Like if I'm gonna do them, like you see it with Dakota, he's basically just gone straight in, super high production quality, proper scripting. Like it looks like a YouTuber with like, I don't know, 20k subs or whatever, posting posts on Twitter. So I respect that. I respect that mentality as well.
Yeah, I think with like long form video, I'm very bullish on that because in terms of like user retention, it's going to keep people on the app much longer. And like, say, like with this podcast now, we release it and like people can listen to it while they're in the gym and stuff, while they're commuting. Like reading like a long form post in the gym, you're not going to do it, are you? So it adds another like element to it.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at Taylor as well, I think because he's already probably one of the best written producers on the app, like you can definitely get away with not doing the video. But if you can't compete with people like that in text, then video is definitely the way to go. A lot of people are doing like the talking, floating head videos at the minute. And what do you think about those? I don't know. Some are really good, and some are just. Really
What should be
bad.
floating head? Is that just the one with a?
Yeah, it's just someone's head
on it.
Yeah, it's just their head with like maybe captions or no captions, just like kind of boring. Some of it really nailing it, some are not. What do you think about those?
I like Hamza's one just because they're quite polarizing. They're just quite entertaining, and I think with the text on screen, you should put it on just because if someone sat in a room with people in there, they're not gonna be able to listen to it, but they can read the text on it. So it's just an easy win.
I read one of NFT God's posts last week where he's talking about this tweet cred thing. It's like they have social credit score in China, where it's like you do good things, you get points, you do bad things, you lose points. And apparently in the Twitter algorithm, there's a system like that where if you interact with shadow banned accounts or not safe for work accounts, sensitive content, you get dinked. And the algo will cut your reach. So he was saying because of that, he doesn't interact or reply to any accounts with less than 500 followers or ones that aren't verified. And obviously no one in the sensitive content section. And like at first, earlier in the week, I kind of thought there was an overreaction, like, under 500 followers seems a bit strict. I think that is still a little bit strict. But I think he's got a good point because he talked about someone apparently replied to one of their subscribers and then got unverified and pretty much ghost banned.
I think that's ridiculous. I don't think that's like long-term sustainable because if I'm putting out a tweet and like someone's commented a valuable comment on it, I'm not going to click on their profile, see how many followers they got, and then decide whether or not to reply. If it's a good comment, I'm going to reply because that's what I want to do. That's the experience I want on the app. So I'm not going to be clicking on people's profiles, seeing how many followers they got. I think that's too much.
Yeah, I also wonder if it's all just a bit, like, as we've said in the past, is it just also like fine-tuned BS where it like maybe makes the tiniest difference? Because like Aaron Will, for example, he replies to every single comment on his post. He's averaging like 300 replies, like 300 comments a day, and he's like one of the few accounts which is growing faster now than like, I don't know, what was it? Say go back 6 months to like 6 months when everyone was like popping off, like growth was faster, reach was better, and all that sort of thing. Like he was growing slower then than he is now, and he replies to every single one. Like literally, he doesn't. I don't go how or why he does it. He doesn't. I don't think he leaves any. Like he even had like a post go viral, and he like posted a video of him replying to every single one there. So yeah, I mean, and also he'll have like at his size so many like bot or like shifty accounts commenting on his stuff. So yeah, I wonder.
But are you actually opening show more replies and then replying to those people? Because I never do. I just think they're shadow banned. I'm not replying to them. If it gets my reach her for replying to someone shadow banned, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, they're probably more likely to show up in the show more, aren't they? Sometimes
I never reply to anyone
like the tweets, but I never reply to the ones in the show more.
No, me neither. And I have started checking people's profiles a little bit. If I open someone's profile now and I see it's like NFT King 69 following 2,000 people, 3 followers, just posts like links everywhere, I'm not replying to him.
It is one of those
more often than not, you can just gauge it.
I was just saying, it's one of those subconscious things. Like, even though you're like, oh, maybe it's BS, it still starts to change how you act. Like, I remember I had like, when I was working in a pub, there was, like the little beer things that they have on the front of the tap. There was a Carling one, and for some reason I like took it home because it had fallen off or something, and I just like stuck it up on my shelf. And then like 2 months later, I just noticed I was drinking loads of Carling. Like every time I'd go out, I was like, why the fuck Carling's fucking shit? I'm like drinking Carling, and I genuinely think it's because I had it up on the wall, and so I was always just seeing Carling. So anytime I went to get a beer, I was sort of indifferent with the taste. I was just like, oh, I'll just get a Carling then. And it feels like the same with this. It's like, now that I know it, anytime I like go and comment and I just see someone who's a little bit shifty, or I'll just like hover over briefly and I'll be like, like obviously if it's a good comment, then I'm gonna get back anyway. But it definitely does like consciously start changing how you act a little bit. I think the biggest thing they need is like, as NFT Go says a lot, like they're changing a lot of things at the moment. Like things like Elon's trying to revamp basically the entire app and how it works and fix it. Because like I think Twitter was like unprofitable for like the last 8 years running or something like that. So like they were in a really, really bad shape. And as we've seen with like everything that Elon does, like he doesn't just improve something. He comes in and he like completely turns like the industry on its head. Like you get SpaceX and he becomes like the first private company to send astronauts to the International Space Station. Like he bought Tesla when General Motors were recalling all their electric cars and sending them to the dump. So he like, anytime he does something seriously drastic. And given that we're in like the first year of him and X, I think he's just being super drastic with what he is, like really mixing things up, which obviously means like this is like the most chaotic period. So if you can maneuver your way through this, then I think definitely good things come later on. But obviously then part of it is that we have to deal with constant updates. And so I think because he's always changing the algo, there's like not that much transparency on like what works or what doesn't. Because I've seen NFT gods say as well, like what they will have is anytime you write something which may be counted as something that deboosts you slightly or is like sensitive or whatnot, it'll be like highlighted in yellow, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, he was saying what they want to do. They want to make it so when you're about to tweet, it will highlight certain words. Because I actually the other day, what was it? It was the first tweet I've ever deleted after posting it in like 3 months because I used the word threads in it. And for whatever reason, this post got like a fifth of the reach of all my other posts because I'd used the word threads, I assume, and he's basically banned that word, deboosted it. So I feel like they should definitely tell you like what words are deboosted, like what state your account is on.
Yeah. That says everything about threads as well.
Has anyone been on Threads recently? I literally, I did it for like 2 days and then stopped.
I think it's dead.
Threads
I
is
don't
dead.
think I have it. I never even made an account. I think I tried to,
Do
and
you-
then I didn't want to use my original Instagram, and I couldn't be asked to set up a new fucking Instagram account, so I just left it.
Do you think like banning certain words is fine, or do you think it's a bit weird? I mean, it's because they call it like freedom of speech, not freedom of reach, right? But I don't know how I sit with it. Like a word like Threads, like I guess it cuts out their competition, but in terms of like just user like reach and stuff, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with it.
I think it's fine if you actually tell people what words are deboosted. Like if you don't want me to use the word threats, fine, but like tell me if it's gonna get me docked by the algorithm and my reach limited for using it. I'd rather know before using it so then I can use a different word.
Yeah. I think if you use words like X and Elon and shit like that, you get like extra boost. I swear that's
It feels
the thing.
like it. It feels like it. Any tweet I've ever written with Elon in it has always done really good, so that's probably true.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other words there are.
Or it could just be as well that everyone on X at the moment, like if you're on X right now, like a lot of people came into X because they love Elon. So I feel like anytime you talk about Elon and stuff like that, people are like,
Yeah, I think he gets a lot of searches, doesn't he? And he's a popular term, so that could also explain it.
basically, we got no idea about that.
No, I don't think any of us three is an algorithm guru.
To be fair, I don't think anyone even like.
Yeah, no,
I know leads into it, but it's like it's such a tiny part of the code, and they're always changing it. But I think ultimately, you just have to test things out, don't you, for yourself, see what they work, see what works, what doesn't, and just iterate from there.
I think it's good to like keep an eye on the algo, but don't be like owned by it. It's like long term, it's going to be who can provide the most value and the most entertainment. And as long as you focus on value and entertainment, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, a lot of the people talking about the algo, it kind of feels like when ChatGPT threads were a thing and everyone was talking about ChatGPT. Now we're doing it, everyone's talking about the X algo because it's what gets engagement. People are really interested for whatever reason. So I wouldn't really want to become like an algo account. I think that's definitely a risk people need to be wary of.
Yeah, it's like short-term cash sort of thing. It's like a cash grab.
Yeah, it's fine to hop on trends a little bit, but you don't want to make it your entire identity, do you? It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Should we chat about Justin?
Yeah, Justin's Tantrum.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard about this, so can someone give me a TLDR?
He's basically just ranting about. He's talking about he bought a product from someone he likes, and then this guy basically like sent him loads and loads of like basically a daily email, and he was like, initially I was interested in like I don't know buying his back end offer or actually hiring him, but after this he was like, I wasn't interested. He's had enough. So basically, he's just slamming daily emails. And I don't know how aggressive this guy actually was, or whether he was like going for the more story route and selling at the end. But his basically thing was like, no one wants to be emailed that much. Like for him, he's going to be sticking to his like weekly one or whatever, and just going pure value. Meanwhile, you've got like the whole other side where like the proper email marketers are really pushing for the more personal daily emails, sending all the time, that sort of thing. My kind of take on it is that like it feels like, especially with AI, like the newsletter industry is not really one that you want to be on. If that's like your sole business, because like everyone's starting a newsletter, like it's easy to provide value. Like it's never been easier to provide like beginner tips on any topic because you've got AI. So I feel like shifting more to sending more, or just the more like just personal story style emails, which are fun but also teach a little bit, are just going to become more and more important, because it's not just you. I mean, it's like the same with like content on X, isn't it? It's like the classic tips aren't working as good, and newsletters almost are like the classic newsletter anyway, are just like classic tips. Yeah, everyone's ramping up. So what do you guys think?
I don't know. It depends how much I enjoy the emails. If it's like Eddie Kwan or Glenn, like I love the daily emails, but some people just kind of put an email out there for the sake of putting an email out there, and I'm not really interested in it. And then at the other end of the spectrum, I've got certain newsletters that only get sent every, say, Saturday. And I actually look forward to that. I'm like, oh, it's Saturday. I'm going to read this longer newsletter that's packed with value and enjoy it. So it's like newsletters I look forward to if they're good. And then daily emails, they're just kind of like wake up, read it with your morning coffee, learn something small, and then just move on with your day.
Yeah, there's a lot of people sending them for the sake of it now, it feels like. Seems a bit of a trend. Everyone's like, oh, daily emails, daily emails. But if that means my inbox is going to be full of shit emails from 30, 40 different people doing daily emails for the sake of doing it, like, I'm going to unsub like crazy from everyone.
Yeah.
I don't even the ones I really like I love Eddie's emails, but like I don't read them like every single day. I try to read them like most days of the week. I'll open it, skim it, read it. I can't be doing that for like 10, 20, 30 different people. There's just no way. I haven't got the bandwidth for it. I don't know if anyone has.
I was going to say, I think there's only one email that I read pretty much all of, and it's like once every 2 weeks, which is interesting.
Yeah. I'm kind of going for like a hybrid model now where I do like 2 daily emails, so like a Monday and a Wednesday, and then on the Friday I'll do my big newsletter where I share one thing from me and then like 2 things from people that are doing good stuff. So like giving shout outs and stuff, and or like sharing an article or a video. Kind of enjoying that method. I get Eddie Kwan's thing of like if you write every day, an email every day, then it becomes a habit. I get that, but I'm usually writing long form tweets anyway most days, so I feel like I'm doing like similar stuff, just on in a different medium.
Got to be good at emailing as well, haven't you? To actually send one every day.
Yeah.
You send me a shit email 7 days in a row.
Blocked. I've got the like same routine as you pretty much, where it's like one main value newsletter every Sunday, and then if and when something happens that I want to do a little one, they can go out during the week. And then just the act of writing every day is just then writing long form posts and content for social media in the morning.
Can I just say, like, I see so many people that are pretty good at short form now, but then as soon as they do a long form tweet, it's usually shit. Like, it's such a hard thing to like keep the reader's attention, like know how to like keep them hooked, open loops, all that stuff. Actually, like people write long form, but they leave in too much shit. Like you need to cut the fluff, even if you're writing long form, right? Otherwise, you're just going to lose the reader and confuse them.
Mate, short form isn't a skill, to be honest. Like to be good at short form tweets, it's like just read a few short form tweets, use the main templates, and fucking put them out there. Any idiot can write tweets. It's really not hard. The long form stuff that's why most people suck, and that's honestly why I don't get why people will pay literally £3,000 for a ghostwriter for a month. Because the tweets should basically be free. They can all be like AI generated, basically. Like when you pay a ghostwriter, the way I see it, you're paying the bulk of the money is for like the long form stuff, the brand building stuff, not the little snippets here and there, because they're just little pieces from the long stuff.
That's so true. Yeah, there should be a different method where it's like you hire a ghostwriter just to write like a long form tweet or a thread for you. Like I think that's much better.
The fact people get 2-3K a month for just writing like 100 something tweets and then like one long form a week is like they're getting robbed. I'll just say they're getting robbed. That's what I would say. Theft. What do you think, Tats? Short form, easy, hard?
It's fucking easy. I think what you say a lot, Dill, is like it's the idea. Like, but even then, like you can almost just copy like this. Like you just know what idea is going to do well. Like you can just look at someone's, I don't know, Justin Welsh's Timex or whatever. See an idea, remix it a bit, put your own spin on it, and you can sort of tell when it pops off. Like I know people like, I remember in the start, everyone's like, oh, you never know which post is going to do well. And there is often like the anomaly where like one post that you didn't expect to do well does really well. But I think in general, like you sort of know after you've been doing it a while, like, oh, this is going to do really well. This is going to be a bit meh. So yeah, I mean, I think, short form, it's just, you could copy a template. It's just being symmetrical, being punchy. I know it's like 280 characters. Like, I think the biggest skill is like Naval's skill, where you can take ideas and put a spin on it that no one's really thought of and give those big aha moments. I think that's almost a bigger skill than just writing and catching attention with a short form tweet.
Yeah. I mean, I could like a 2-line tweet. I know I could just put something together now in like 2 minutes, put it out there, it'll get 100, 200 likes. But again, it's not skill. I could be like, oh, you're not bad at writing, you're bad at finding ideas. I'm like, yeah, cool. That's like short and sweet. Like people like it. It's good content, easily consumable, but it's not really making my writing any better.
Mate, even Naval, most of his short form is just little copy paste platitudes. Really, when you think about it, like he's written some amazing pieces, like arguably some of the best on the platform. But it's like short form stuff, like anyone's, just little cut and paste platitudes, isn't it?
They're good platitudes.
Don't stop, you'll get there in the end, just with fancier wording. Yeah, they're great platitudes. But
what's that long form he did? He was like, how to get rich without getting lucky or something. Is that right? That's that's a really good.
But I guarantee if you post that today, it'll get like 500k impressions instead of 50 million because the algo is so aggressively cutting everyone's reach. I'm just sick of that word algo, to be honest. Like, you scroll your timeline, you just see it 500 times, don't you?
Yeah. Put it in your banned words.
When people say, oh, it's not the algo, your content just sucks. All these people currently saying, oh, the algo's fine, your content just sucks, bro.
Well, no, I think because everyone's reach has gone down, it's not like just down to bad writing. And like
the people who say that are the ones who just tweet about audience building every single tweet as well. They're like, oh, your content just sucks, from a template about your content sucking.
Yeah. There's a lot of content out there that's getting so saturated now, like X is free, blah 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 is free, blah 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 is free, and it's like, come on, or like, it's just I don't know. Is it just me following the wrong people, or the algorithm thinking that I like this stuff? I'm just sick of it.
That's the thing with short form, right? There's less possible combinations, so you just see it more often. Same stuff.
Yeah, and also when one thing works, everyone just fucking copies it because we just follow fellow creators instead of, I don't know, people who are in different niches. And then it's kind of like if you've got a really slow car versus a really fast car, and then someone's just like, oh, it's not the car, it's just your driving. It's like, well, the car is actually a little bit slower now. Like, obviously, like there's definitely an element of truth in it, but ultimately the algo is slowing down reach now than it was before, so it is going to affect your posts.
Yeah, I got blamed for ruining the timeline the other day in that space.
Did you
really?
Yeah. Yeah, I got blamed for ruining the timeline because I showed everyone how to download their tweet history filtered by profile clicks, and then everyone was like, oh, transformations get literally 10x the next best thing.
What's your thoughts on like people stealing other people's content? Because I was watching a video the other day, and XQC, you know, the streamer, does like games and reaction videos and stuff, but he's got to a point now where he'll watch a whole YouTube video that's gone like pretty viral, and he'll just sit there and watch it and not say anything, not react. He'll like walk to the toilet in the middle of the video, keep it playing, come back, and then he'll upload that to YouTube, and he'll get all the views for the good video. But he's not doing anything. He's just stealing the content.
So he just lets it play. He reacts.
Yeah. So like, you're allowed to react to other people's content. Like, that's fine. That's like allowed. But if you're not actually reacting to it and you just sat there watching it with like your viewers and then just uploading it, you're technically like stealing that person's content.
Oh, I
right?
see.
But so he's had like a lot of backlash for that. And I think like a famous YouTuber who's like a lawyer, he's like, yeah, this is kind of like a gray area because that should not be allowed. You're just stealing views from that other creator.
Yeah, it seems a bit scammy to do that, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like...
Have you had any people like copy and pasting your tweets?
Yeah, loads. I lost count. The amount of copy and pasting is absolutely... Like, people... I used to think, oh, I'm getting copied, awesome, I'm doing it right, but it just gets fucking tiring after a while. When you tweet something and then for the next week, everyone's having the same take as you because it got a lot of engagement, it's really boring.
Mate, first time I got copied, I wrote a tweet about my cousin dying, and genuinely the same day someone copied the tweet, and I was like, fucking hell, some people, Jesus Christ, like, of all the tweets to like carbon copy,
people will copy and paste your family tragedy for engagement.
Yeah, I thought the funny thing as well, the latest extravaganza. Did you see the guy who wrote the tweet, which was, I don't follow a single female on X. What's your flex? ?
Funny story about this guy. Yeah, saw it. I was on a space
like,
with him.
that's just obnoxious. Like, what
I was
the
on a
fuck
space
are
with him
you
this morning.
doing? Are you?
Yeah, I was on a Dakota had a space this morning called the Cum Zone. Him, Taylor, and a few other people. It was like 30, 40 people, and this Zach guy came in, and Dakota literally sat him down and was like, "Look, mate," he was like, "You should probably just put out an apology tweet." I know he said it was like goofing and stuff, but he was like, "Trust me, I've done it before. People have told me like, yeah, don't do that." He said, "Just being polarizing for the sake of it, it gets engagement, but long term, you kind of kill your brand." And he just told him like, "Yeah, man, you should just write a little apology tweet." And he actually followed the first woman he follows on that space as well. He redeemed his sins.
God, yeah, that's asking for trouble. Fuck that.
Yeah,
He's
I actually
16,
DM'd
FYI.
him. Yeah, I DM'd him. I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, you obviously don't have any sisters." And he was like, "No, I don't." And he was like, I just thought it'd be funny for some of my followers." What fucking? I mean, it's funny. At age, you don't really think about things, but still.
Dude's
I think
literally
he-
16.
Yeah, I think if you want easy engagement and like virtue signaling, you just like quote retweet and say, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like blah blah blah. But I just don't like getting involved with that stuff. Fuck
I didn't
that.
react to that because it's like someone knocks on my door and they're completely naked and they've just strapped a peacock feather to their head. Like they just want me to react. They want attention.
Yeah.
And like I'm not giving it you for that. It's too easy. It's like just an empty goal, isn't it? There's no pleasure in scoring.
Yeah. It's like that hook, like if you're not a loser, read this.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see that other account as well? They were like, many acts is a cult in disguise, growth engagement frameworks, profile optimization, newsletters. You've seen it all.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's newsletters got to do with a cult? Like profile optimization. I think that's like generic stuff, right? You want your profile to look good, right?
Yeah, the newsletter cult.
Yeah, it's like, what? Can't start a newsletter. Start an account. Like profile optimization is like, yeah, you're optimizing your profile for conversions. That's just like a good move,
It's just
right? It's
logic,
not
isn't
like what's that got to do with a cult? I don't know.
I think people just get very disillusioned, don't they? I think that's kind of one of the reasons the algo is so shit at the minute, because it's clearly force feeding people like too much stuff they don't want to see. And but the annoying thing is, stuff you don't like, if you engage with it, it shows you way more of that stuff. So if that lady is, seeing too much growth content, clicked into it because she hates it, to just look at it all and be angry, it's going to show her more and more and more until eventually she thinks there's a newsletter cult.
My timeline at the minute is growth content, quit your 9 to 5, red pill stuff,
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it. And then people like saying, I don't follow any girls. Like that's my whole feed at the minute. Like I'm sick of it.
it does feel quiet. There's less people. In January, I swear it felt like a busy metropolis, and at the minute it feels a bit empty.
Yeah. So I put a tweet out yesterday where I was predicting like summer months always slow because people are touching grass, sort of going outside, going on holiday and stuff. Then it's going to pick up in the winter months, and then all three of us joined like January time, right? And it felt like a massive influx of new people came then. So like you've got like three months until then. So like work hard until then, and I think you're going to get like rewarded highly. And the algorithm's not going to get any worse than it is now.
I don't think it can. I mean, if it got any worse than it is now, I'd literally just start tweeting once a day and engaging for like 20 minutes and do something else. Do LinkedIn or something.
Agree
Do you
with
reckon
that.
Tats, you're struggling. Are you on a scale of 1 to 10? How hungover are you right now?
I'm not actually. I wouldn't say I'm hungover now. I went to the gym this morning, which sorted me out. But when you just like, I sat down to write today, and honestly, it took me so long. Like even just to edit or like just to write anything, I was just like typing. I'm like, nah, nothing's happening, and then like just got distracted. So I'm not actually that hungover, but just feeling a bit fried, to be honest. So, when you're 60% capacity, I reckon. Nah, that's a bit low. We'll go 70%.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm terrible on a hangover. I'd be at like 40. Parallel on my bed. Absolute loser.
Yeah.
How far are you from Virgil, Tats? Are you going to go see him?
It's about just under 3-hour moped ride, and I'm going to drive to him on Sunday.
You got anything planned? Are you literally going to stay in Virgil's house?
I think so. I need to
Oh,
double check what plans are.
But he's got a banging house.
Yeah, it's gonna be some sick content.
He's smashing down his wall though to get the fridge in.
Fuck yeah.
Your
Yeah.
first move, Tats, is walk into Virgil's house, take your shirt off, open his fridge, and just start like drinking his milk out of the carton.
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
I swear some people thought you were his son, like legit.
Oh my God.
People like,
you
oh,
should-
fucking lid. Who's that?
That's funny.
You've got to do a video where you pretend you literally say like, "Oh, I'm with my dad."
That would be so funny. There's a picture of him. You know the one where he's got a little mustache. We'll have to send this in to Dom. I looked at that. I was like, fucking hell, yeah, you actually do look like he could be like a cousin or something, maybe a long lost brother. But yeah, I can't wait. It's always funny. It feels like I know him really well, but obviously just spaces, tweets, and calls. So it's always cool actually meeting someone in person.
I think you do actually know someone though after you've been on Spaces calls and their timeline. It's like when I met you guys for the first time. It was like I don't know. It was like the hologram presence just had like a flesh body, and it's like the personality is the exact same, but just in real life.
So yeah, you like when I shook your hand, I was like, yeah, okay, he's a real person. Yeah, cool. Like that's it.
Yeah, he's not like an absolute freak.
Yeah.
You can't hold up like a fake persona that long, can you?
I was just like, fucking
Let's
hell,
talk about some stupid stuff. Yeah, it's a big fucking bonds.
Yeah, any more stupid shit? What do I think?
What do we have? Cohort Wars and DDoS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this Cohort Wars thing. I don't know what's happened, but it's like the Russian doll of cohorts has happened.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like my advice to certain people was like, just do like group coaching yourself or something like that. Like it's fine, just do scale that way, because a cohort's a lot more work than you think. And people like promising that it's gonna be the best cohort in the world, and like you haven't actually done it yet, so you can't really say that. And it's like if you're making promises, like monetary promises or whatever, it's like you need to make sure you can deliver. Otherwise, it's going to ruin your brand long term. Like when we started Growth Army, we were all making like 10K a month, right? Before we promised 1K a month. And I was like, I still felt, oh, okay, like feel pretty confident we can do that.
Yeah.
But I was shitting myself. I was like, if we fuck this up, like it's going to take a long time to build back like our trust with our audience. But luckily it's gone well, and like the next one's going to be even better.
It's kind of like how
you got to be careful.
Ghostwrite.
I think people just see what's working and they just carbon copy it.
Yeah, like it's like with ghostwriting. Dakota started talking about ghostwriting, how much money he's making, and then we saw. I think the big thing for that was probably like Taylin, who like popped off and was like in a few, literally like the space of a month or whatever, got to 10K a month ghostwriting. So everyone's like, oh, I want to be a ghostwriter. Like it must be so easy, not realizing like the amount of work it takes on the back end to actually write for someone, deliver all that sort of thing. So then people have seen us do a cohort in such a short period of time and bring in like 80 grand, and everyone's like, oh fuck, cohorts must be easy. All I have to do is team up with a bunch of mates and launch it. But cohorts are more dangerous for your brand, because if you're ghostwriting and you're writing for someone else, if you're a shit writer for someone else, it doesn't really affect your brand. However, if you launch a cohort and bring in all your followers and it's a shit cohort, that really does ruin the reputation of your brand, because everyone sees it, everyone talks about it. You're dealing with a lot of people, and when you're dealing with a lot of people, you don't want to fuck up really. So you just need to be careful of what you're promising.
Yeah, and the fact that I don't know, it seems like it's getting desperate down there, because I've seen some crazy stuff on the timeline of like different cohorts taking pot shots at each other and slating each other on the timeline. Like it's getting wild out there. Like you should do 1-to-1 first, right? You do 1-to-1, and then you can do like some group coaching maybe, and then you do a cohort, and you have like a proven system for getting people results. You don't just go from zero to running a fucking cohort with 10, 20, 30 people. It's irresponsible.
Yeah. It seems like since we've done a cohort with 3 of us hosting, like there's a lot of other cohorts popping up with like multiple people hosting, whereas it felt like before us, it was always like one person running the cohort. Yeah. And now it's just like, it's going to be like 10 people running a cohort next. It's just going to be like, what the hell is going on? And our wait list got DDoS attacked, didn't it? So
it did, yeah.
A bit of an eye-opener.
We have no idea by who, but I've seen 2 other cohort waitlists get DDoS this weekend as well. So I've literally no idea who would have done it, but I don't know. It's weird. It seems like when you're messing, it seems like if everyone was a farmer, like you wouldn't run onto someone else's farm at night and like throw salt all over it in the silence of night, would you? Unless you were like, I don't know, a little worm or something.
To be fair, so this is actually just reminding me of the Salesforce story. So when Salesforce first started in 1999, their biggest competitor was like huge, already a massive public company, and they were holding a huge conference in Cannes, something like that, in France. And in order to get to the conference, you have to fly to Nice airport and get on a 45-minute taxi ride. And Salesforce didn't really want this event to be going on, but obviously you can't just cancel an event or completely attack it. So what they did is buy and rent every single airport taxi there was, stick a salesperson in, and then every single person who went to this conference, they basically just pitched them Salesforce for 45 minutes, closed loads of deals, and the people going to the event were partners, potential customers, all this sort of thing. So there's definitely, and he's done loads of little tactics like that. He even hired a load of actors to go to one of the conferences and pretend like they were protesters, and even hired actors to be part of a news team. So it looked like it was a proper thing where there was a big upset about what this company was doing. So yeah, it seems stupid, and this is, I guess, different. It's a bit aggressive. I don't really get why you'd waste your time just DDoSing, whatever you say it, people's websites, but I can see how there's a place as well for some form of competition, but you just got to be careful, I guess, who you put your fights with.
Yeah, fuck them. I mean, I'm glad it happened now, so we've got protection now for the actual launch. I mean, it's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a good business lesson. You've really got to. I saw Patrick Bet-David talk about this in one of his books. Before any big launch or any big announcement, he just sits down and says, right, what's the worst thing that could happen right now? And for us, that would be, for example, a sales page getting DDoS during the launch. Last time when we launched, Twitter completely broke. We couldn't tweet, couldn't do anything for the last 2 days of the launch, which people forget about. We couldn't do anything on the timeline.
Yeah, and we were worried as well because we just started the Growth Army email, so that could have easily been going to spam. We didn't think about that. There's so many little things that you forget about that.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing we did after the last one, wasn't it? It was hire Virgil as brought him in to give us sort of guidance, because we don't expect to know everything, but that sort of thing you have to outsource.
Yeah, little things can end up being very big. When you think about it, most people are vulnerable to that. Most people, they do a big launch, they have one little sales page, that's the only asset they have. That could just get DDoSed for whatever reason by anyone, and then the whole launch is ruined basically because they've got no backup plan. So you gotta be careful. You gotta prepare for these things.
Yeah. Another thing was when we launched, we were right, we need to build a Discord channel and stuff, and we were should we do that ourselves? And we were we're not good at building Discord servers. We're so we just hired a community manager straight away, and it's the best thing we did, really, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, it was a good hire. Well, one of the guys on the Black Ops launch, Honor, I keep butchering his name. I know it's Owner. I'll just call him Owner. Owner on the Black Ops launch, he's started using Figma and Webflow, hasn't he? He's using this Gigachad filter on everyone. Because this 17-year-old kid was oh, you want to increase your profile optimizations, you have to be a Gigachad, as he was saying. So Owner's just started doing these Chad edits of everyone. He's got more engagement than I think yesterday than he had in the month before. And he's had people DMing him in his inbox oh, I just saw your post on this guy's thing. Do you make websites? Can we get on a call? I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Maybe that could be the thumbnail for this video. Just 3 of us looking like Gigachads.
Dedication. I've got to turn this on to 3 weeks of emails.
Still in the 95.
Fucking horrible.
Technically, yeah. It just never ends, does it? They could have let me go into the sunset to Vietnam.
Taz, give us an outro then.
Well, me?
Yeah.
Have
you got your AI freaking thing on?
Huh? Yeah, that.
Have you got
that? I swear my eyes looked so fucking weird in that. Like, I don't know if that was like just because I'm on camera. I don't think I've got any AI thing on. Never used anything like that, so who knows? Maybe my eyes are just fucking weird. But right, outro. What did you say last time?
Cheers for tuning in, guys.
Yeah. Cheers for tuning in, guys.
If you made it this far, you're a legend. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, you're a
episode
legend
3.
for putting up with us.